Hi, I'm here today with my very good friend Cindy Waldman with Dance of Light Healing. I'm Leigh-Anne Vaughn with Pearson Smith Realty, and we're just going to chat today, get to know Cindy, who she is, what she does, and what her business Dance of Light Healing is all about. I'm very excited for you to meet her. Hi Cindy, I want you to meet all my friends. I want all my friends to meet you. Cindy Waldman with Dance of Light Healing. And before we get started, before I ask any questions, I noticed your necklace right here.
Oh yeah.
And is that symbolic of your business, Dance of Light Healing?
It's actually symbolic of me.
Okay.
I was a dancer way back when, wanted to be a dancer on Broadway.
Nice.
And kind of didn't really transpire, but I've always had dancing in my soul, and the reason that I came up with this name for my company was I actually dreamed about it. I was dreaming up names, and I always love anything to do with dance, and I've seen light dancing on the water, just kind of reflecting and dancing, and I thought, well, Reiki is kind of light energy, so maybe Dance of Light. I think that's great. And this is a little dancer here. So
right, it's a ballerina,
yeah.
Right? And what do you call that? Is it
Oh, that's, she's in an arabesque.
Arabesque, okay, right. So let's get to what your business is.
Sure. Dance
of Light Healing is Reiki.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
It's a Reiki practice. Reiki is a very gentle healing touch technique from Japan. It's used in a lot of hospitals right now. A lot of medical professions are discovering how beneficial Reiki is to actually use with medical treatment, so it's a complementary therapy, but it's holistic also, so it works on mind, body, emotions, spiritual, all of this development.
Right.
And it's really a way to keep healthy. And it's a way to return to wellness if you're not healthy. So it kind of balances all of your bioenergy and allows things to flow and allows things to release. So, you know, if you've got lots of tension bottled up and you get a Reiki session, it's a great way to release that.
So you did perform a brief Reiki session on me, and you used your hands and you kind of rubbed them together, and then you didn't touch me, but you ran your hands over me, and I could feel the warmth from your hands. And so is that the energy that you're talking about?
Yeah, so what happens with the Reiki healer when practicing on a recipient, the recipient's body is kind of taking whatever energy it needs. Okay. So I can actually put my hand in your field, because your field is all around you, and it will affect the energy in your body.
Okay.
But you also keep a lot of emotional charges in your field as well. So if you've got anything going on, a lot of stress in your work, or any kind of relationship issues or whatever, those kind of float in your field if you don't find a way to release them.
Right.
Meditation helps to release them, yoga helps, Reiki helps. There are many techniques to actually balancing all of that energy so that it doesn't become a physical issue. But yes, I work with the field, and I can put my hands on, but I can also work remotely.
Right.
So it's just a matter of forming an energetic connection with the person who's elsewhere, and then the energy works remotely, kind of on a quantum physics level, I guess.
Right.
I'm not going to go into the science of it because I can't explain it either.
Because they turn this off. Yeah. So I want to know what brought you to Reiki and why you chose that as your career. Yeah.
Well, I think I've always been kind of a peacemaker in my family. So I started out as the second child in four siblings. And I was always the one keeping them from killing each other.
And where are you in the lineup?
I'm number two.
Number two, second child syndrome.
Second child syndrome.
Yes.
Yeah, keeping the oldest from killing the youngest, and vice versa.
Okay.
And then in my 30s, my husband at the time and I opened a relaxation center using sound and light technology. So we were inducing states of relaxation and meditation using blinking lights and sound.
Okay.
And during that time, I did a whole lot of research. I also found a pediatrician for my children that had a naturalist bent. So he wanted to do everything naturally first, and then if medication was necessary, then that was necessary. But my oldest daughter, was an asthmatic when she was a child. And I saw him do Reiki on her during this really, really awful episode she had. And it just opened her up. And I didn't know what it was at the time. He kind of explained it. He called it universal energy healing, which is what Reiki is. Rei is universal energy, and Ki is your life force energy.
Okay.
So it's universal energy operating on life force energy. So that's what he did. He put a hand on her head and a hand over her chest, and just allowed that energy to flow. And she was only a child. She felt it. And it opened up her lungs, and I was like, I need to learn how to do that.
So that led you to do more research, to learn the technique, and you were already kind of in that, like you said, the meditation.
Right.
What do you call it? Healthy soul, like creating a healthy soul for people. So you were already in that field, and so Reiki was just a natural fit.
It seemed to be a natural fit for me.
Right.
Just because I always had. I'd read stories about people who were actually able to heal just using their hands and using their intention.
But they've been doing this for centuries,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Centuries.
This is an ancient practice.
Yes. I do wonder, where did it originate?
I believe it originated in Tibet.
Okay.
But, this is a practice that's been used in Asia for, centuries.
So I often say that we should do things that feed our soul. Mm-hmm. But what you're doing is cleansing the soul.
I try to keep it clean.
Right? So so the practice of Reiki is a release of an energy.
It's kind of like I'm helping your own body to find that calm.
Right.
So really it's not my energy that I'm putting into your field. It's actually coming from around us. And me as practitioner, I just kind of work as a tool, as a part of the circuit. The conduit for the energy.
Sure.
But your body is what's bringing in whatever it is that you need. So if you need calm, that's what you're going to get. If you've had surgery, for example, there's going to be an area where the surgery is healing, where the scar tissue's healing. That's going to feel a little bit different. So you may feel cold energy. If I put my hand over a new, a surgical area, you're going to feel it like cold energy.
So who is your ideal client? I know that you do Reiki with animals.
Yeah.
You do Reiki virtually.
Yes.
Without getting into the science, right? But you can do Reiki virtually. It's an energy wavelength.
It's just forming a connection. Which you can do. There's a way to do it, and it's palpable because the person on the other end can feel it.
Right.
Wow, that's an excellent question, because recently I've been getting so many animal clients, and I love working with animals because you can tell the instant they're feeling the energy, because they kind of go, whoa, what's happening? Oh, this feels good. You can just see that in their demeanor, and you know that it's helping because the owner is going to say, hey, the next couple of days, this dog has calmed down. She's doing great. She's allowing people to pet her. She was feeling really aggressive before. I love that. I love the feedback I get. But I also love working with people in person, because for me, it's such a peaceful practice.
Sure.
I love having somebody do a full-length Reiki session on my massage table, and I just work with the energy, and we both feel that calm come over us. That energy's flowing through me, so I get it too.
Right.
Right. But it's
a win-win.
It's a win-win.
So how long does a Reiki session take?
Well, I usually the full-length session is 60 minutes. It could go a little longer. It kind of depends on if I feel like there's still some blockages in the field, and I can sense that. But usually it's 60 minutes, kind of like a massage.
Okay.
But you can also, like the remote sessions, the energy flows a lot faster.
Okay.
So a remote session may not last more than like 40, 45 minutes.
Okay.
And usually the remote sessions are more for stress reduction than anything else. Although I've worked with localized pain also, but for stress reduction, they're wonderful, because the person on the other end they relax in their own home. They don't have to have the video on. I usually do it over Zoom.
Okay.
But they can just turn off the video, and then I just work with their energy. and they relax, and they're in their space. They didn't have to go anywhere. You know, they're just chilling in their own space, and it's wonderful. I worked with a couple of nurses in Chicago who were ICU nurses during COVID.
Okay.
And they used Reiki to actually decompress from all of that, you know, the trauma of working with people that were in this situation.
Right, right.
So they loved it. And they still are clients of mine from time to time.
Oh, that's
so,
good.
Yeah.
That's good when they stick around. That means it's working, right?
Yeah. Well, they know the benefits. So, you know, whenever they're feeling stressed out, they're like, hey, could you give me a remote session?
Right.
That's good.
So how long have you been doing Reiki?
I've been doing it since 2004, so
Okay.
18 years.
Wow.
And
that's a long time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I started it out for myself and my family.
Right.
In 2008, I took the Reiki Master class, which enables me to teach Reiki to other people. And then after my husband died, I took some advanced Reiki classes, which are a few different Reiki techniques. One of them is Karuna Reiki, which kind of works on a much more emotional level. So for PTSD, Karuna Reiki is amazing.
PTSD?
Yes, for emotion.
So patients that have PTSD,
yes.
Karuna Reiki is...
It's wonderful because it's a kind of a different vibration, but it is one that actually kind of releases a lot of those kind of things that clog up the energy field.
Right.
And a normal Reiki session will relax you, but some of those difficult things to resolve, there's a bunch of energy around that's really compacted.
Right.
And those things take some time to work with, but they also take kind of a different vibration of energy.
So one thing I was going to say to you, and I'm sure you know this, I'm not telling you anything new, but I find that more and more people are looking for holistic remedies, right? And so Reiki could accompany a medical procedure or process.
Absolutely.
Or it could also stand alone, right?
Yeah.
So it just depends on what the individual's needs are. But a lot of people really are searching for holistic methods and techniques to resolve issues that they may have.
Yeah, I feel like there's a bit of a movement away from taking so many drugs for you know, for anxiety and panic,
like you said,
depression.
PTSD, right?
Yeah.
If you're able to help someone with Reiki, or someone with anxiety, or even you know, trying to calm a child, or an aggressive animal, or an animal that might be timid even, right? So it's kind of interesting how Reiki just really runs the gamut on what it can resolve.
Yeah, and the other cool thing, Leigh-Anne, is that anybody can learn how to do it. Because we all have this innate healing ability.
But you're my Reiki master.
Thank you. Yeah, but I do teach people self-Reiki, so they can actually work on themselves. And I teach, you know, promising practitioners. I've got a couple of massage therapists who are coming to a class this coming week.
Okay.
And they're very excited because they can add that to what they offer. Okay. So, you know, it's a lovely thing. But yeah, you're right, it covers the gamut. I have worked with patients going through chemotherapy, and the Reiki was wonderful in reducing the side effects of the chemo.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, so I kind of did a Reiki session before chemo, and then a Reiki session the day after.
Just to cleanse that energy.
Yeah,
right?
well,
and to prepare
and I could feel the difference in the energy field, because the day after chemo, the energy field was on fire. Okay. And it actually helped the chemo to work with the body rather than the body fighting it.
Okay.
So I felt like it was very beneficial in that it helped the body with its own healing ability to use the medication and the treatment to the best of its ability to help the body.
So that was a situation where Reiki, along with the medical procedures, were together. It was beneficial to the patient.
And there are a lot of hospitals where they're using Reiki for cancer patients as well. Okay. And also Reiki before and after surgery, because it helps to keep the patient in a nice, calm state of mind. And that helps healing.
So before we finish, if you could take a moment as if you're speaking to a Reiki client. When you finish your session and the lights are dim and the music is calm, what do you send them away with? What's the thing that you say to them or that you do to end your session to send them away with calmness?
Wow. I usually just actually, to end my session, I usually put my hands on their feet to ground them, because the energy is it kind of makes you feel light and airy and maybe a little spacey. So I ground them on their feet, and while I'm grounding them, I also say my own kind of closure thing to myself. When they finally sit up, then I will put my hands on their shoulders and say, it is, it's a beautiful thing, and I hope that this Reiki has helped you find whatever it is that you need. And I'm also going to ground you now, because I want you to actually feel that energy flowing down into the ground, everything that you've released flowing down into the ground, and the earth is grounding it. So you don't have any of that floating around you, and hopefully you're in a much better space than you were when you came here.
Thank you so much. I am so glad we had this conversation, because I
happy.
learned more about Reiki actually, and I hope that anyone watching, they find calmness. And if Reiki is something that you're searching for, I hope that you find your Reiki master.
Thank you so much,
Cindy Waldman,
Leigh-Anne.
Dance of Light Healing. Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you, Leigh-Anne.